absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday. Yep, everybody's been working for the weekend, and by golly, here it is. Okay, happy Friday. So glad you've joined us, or should I say, happy 420 day. Now, some of you know what that means, and some of you will have to Google it, but nonetheless, have a happy 420. I should have some kind of high joke lined up, but yeah, no hijinks here. All right. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, a special welcome to you. For those of you that might be new, we've been at this every day since 2005. Long time. We're in our second decade of broadcast history, so pencil us in for the next decade. If you can't see the chart I have up of the S&P 500 Emini Futures, you're invited to look at the chart. Go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered through the end of the month. Got to register once every month. Do it at the first of the month, and you trade 30 seconds for 30 days. That gives you one-click access to the show, to the chat box, to the charts, to the discussion. You get it all. Now, here's the deal. If the go-to software should ever fail you, and vice versa. Go to youtube.com/CFRN/live, where at this very moment, if you're listening to the live broadcast, we're streaming live, just as we're streaming live wherever you might be right now. If you're listening to a recording, don't go there because we're not broadcasting live. See how that works? When we're broadcasting live, we're live, and then when we're not, okay. And then everything's archived at youtube.com/CFRN, going back years. And you'll find us in the Apple Podcast, and you'll find us on the Google blog, emini.cfrn.net, and the Emini radio blog, and goodness gracious, if you have a podcatcher of any sorts, chances are it catches our pod. At the end of the live broadcast, we then repurpose that content and make it a podcast. How clever are we? So you're the clever one because you've shown up here today, and we've got some really good stuff to show you, to talk to you about. Hopefully things that will make your trading a little bit smoother. Last night on the Concierge Trade Alert, we said to consider selling 26.87, and we dropped to a low at 82.75. So we're going to call that 83, and then we'll call that for S&P 500 Emini points. Now, important prices and important areas are almost always tested. So price gets back above the trigger, and it gives a false signal here. If you got in there, that resulted in a stop out. And then go back up to the zone. And those who have been watching this for any length of time, when this thing starts to pull back up, you got to be thinking, you know, leg, retrace. This one did it twice. We got a leg and a retrace, and then a leg and a retrace, right back up to the zone. And each one confirming that this area will be good resistance, and it can launch a move off of that. Okay? So we hit the 75-76 weekly zone. We traded through it, and what do? We pulled back up to confirm that this was going to be good resistance because it failed as good support. So far it looks like it will be. And right now, this is the trade we were talking about yesterday on the radio show and also in the Partners Workshop last night. We had talked about being short 26.80 down to 26.76, and or you could trail your stop, and there might be more in the trade if it came down with momentum. Now, we were talking about this yesterday on this red candle. I said, and we entered the discussion of, well, okay, if price is here and you're willing to go 26.80 to 26.76, you think that's a great setup, blah, blah, why not just get short up here, and then you may have more points. And I said, because there's always the possibility that price is going to pull back to the zone and test it. And it absolutely did do that. Okay. And then on last night's trade alert, 26.87, 26.87 again. This time on the 26.87, it took us all the way to 68, from 68 to 87, 78, 88, I don't know, 19 points, roughly. Michael's not here. He normally does my math for me. But, so put a 19 there. The big one, 9. Okay. If that's wrong, put it in the chat box. I'll fix it. And in doing so, what did we do? And I said this on the show yesterday. If you weren't here, you can go back and listen to it because it's meaningful. What I said was, if price does choose not to come down and trigger this trade right now, but if instead it chooses to go back up to the zone and consolidate for a bit before it comes down, I said, will this trade still be valid? And the answer was absolutely and of course. However, I said, If price, instead of just coming on down, chooses to do that, in other words, not come from zone to zone in a straight line, but to go back and test, then chances are we'll find an even better trade setup. This will still be valid, but if we go all the way back up here, we can probably find something better, like selling 2687, which was good for 4 S&P E-mini points, and then a little stop out, potentially, whether you were in it or not, consolidation, and then bang, a 19-point drop so far. Now here's the thing, we slice through the zone, and whenever we slice through a zone, we always expect it to, based on historical observance, to go back to the zone, confirm resistance if it's a short trade, and then here comes the next leg. I did all the little drawings yesterday. It's the same thing I was drawing yesterday. I'm only going to draw it once today, just to prove I'm not OCD. Yeah, but then that would make me a liar. Okay, all right. I'm going to try to only draw it once today. I used to draw it a lot, but not so much anymore. Okay, remember I drew that yesterday? So what did we get? Boom, boom, boom. Same thing. How long has this been going on? Why hasn't somebody told me? Well, it's been going on since the markets began, I guess. But you could really say it's been going on until we started publishing the weekly trading zones back in December 14th, 2009. True story. Michael and I were trading them before because we had to test them out and whatnot. But we publicly, you can go to our blog at cfrn.net, the Emini Radio blog, and you can see the very first chart, the very first set of weekly trading zones that we published for the public. That would be you. Okay. So, and last night in the workshop, one of our partners, Williamson, he said, hey, check this out on an hourly chart, because we had the indicators and all that stuff on it. So I'm going to show you some really interesting stuff later in the show with the indicators laid on not the 30-minute, I'm going to lay them on the hourly. Because remember, what our indicator set does, you put it on any market, any time frame, any type of chart, tick chart, volume chart, time-based chart, doesn't matter, weekly, monthly. It is programmed to go in and find the underlying rhythm of that market, whatever market that is, gold, silver, soybeans, S&P, and whatever time frame or whatever configuration of chart you're running. It goes in, it finds the underlying rhythm of the market. Once you know the underlying rhythm, you can then employ our methodology to take high probability, low risk trade setups, which will enable you to hopefully become consistently profitable in your trading. Now, we are pretty strict in that if you want to come and hang with us, before you start trading live, even if you've traded live before, we want you to employ our methodology. I mean, obviously you're here because you want to learn a methodology if you become a partner. So we want you to put together 10 days in a row in Sim where you reach the daily goal based on how we define it. And then once you do that, then you go live with one contract. Increase your account balance by $2,000, add a second contract. Then we go on a calendar-based method that if everything goes perfect, it will take you from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. We know things rarely go perfectly. Something happens, somebody gets sick, or you get something crazy going on between your ears and you have to spend some time going back into Sim and working out the issues and stuff. There's stuff between 1 and 20 contracts. The worst thing you could do is not become a partner. The second worst thing you could do is to take whatever money you have available, 10, 20, 25 grand, last person I spoke to that did this, and go, man, this looks pretty simple, and just start throwing money at the market. The people who run the brokerage firm where this man, very nice man, I feel so sorry for him. He had a settlement that was supposed to carry him till he got his next job. It's 25 grand, but the trading looked attractive, and the guy at the brokerage firms, oh, well, yeah, you can do this, you can make a ton of money. They knew he had no experience, no training, no clue. It's like blindfolding your kid handing him a knife and some razor blades and sending him out into the superhighway there, playing traffic. It took him exactly 3 days to wipe out 25 grand. Boom. And then you know what the broker said? Oh, dude, you need to get some training. So they sent him over to one of these Shylock outfits that, well, I'm not going to call any names, but then they cleaned his clock. So, I don't know. It's kind of depressing. That's why we give you a 5-day free trial. Use our indicators, the platform, ask questions, have private mentoring at no cost. No credit card, nothing, for 5 days. Because at the end of 5 days, if you have come to class every day, if you've traded in the simulator, if you've actually kind of caught on to the methodology, then at the end of 5 days, you are in a position to make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not our methodology is right for you. We're not naive enough to think that, we've stumbled onto the only way to trade the markets. There's a million ways, but I think ours, as far as simple goes, not easy, but simple, I don't know. We got to be in the top 3, 4, 5, because it's so simple, but not easy. Let's look at the numbers around the world, and then Michael will give us a recap of what happened in that live training room this morning. Now, we're going to start, as we do each day, with the cash markets. And we'll go back to the futures in a minute. And we'll start here in the U.S. with the Dow. Just waiting. Right now I'm establishing a secure connection. Okay. Right now I'm waiting on the cash. That's CACHE. Okay. We got our secure connection. Bravo. The Dow's currently down 214 points. It's almost 1%. NASDAQ is down 93 points. That's 1.25%. S&P 500 is down 24 points. Almost 1%. And the Russell 2000 is in the red by 5 points. So it's a big red radio day here in the U.S. In our commodity basket, crude oil is down 8 cents, trading 68.25 last. Gold, sorry to say, down $8.30, trading 13.40.50 last. In the Asian markets, at the close, Nikkei down 28 points, Shanghai down 45 points, Hang Seng down 290 points. For the Shanghai, that was a loss of 1.5%, and for the Hang Seng, it was a loss of almost 1%. Last but not least, the European markets are going to bring a tad of green onto my screen. The FTSE managed to close positive by 40 points. The DAX lost 26 points, and the CAC gained 21 points. Only mover and shaker there would be the FTSE, which managed to close up a little over 0.5%. So red here at home in the US of A, really red in Asia, and well, the only red in Europe was the DAX, so we'll call that a mixed bag. Some interesting things are going. How many, you don't have to raise your hand or anything. You can just nod your head. How long ago was it that Mr. Jamie Dimon stood out on the street and made that big, bold statement that Bitcoin was a fraud? I say to you, Mr. Jamie Dimon, you, sir, are the fraud. That day, when he said that, it sent the markets into a little mini tailspin. And he had to drag it out. You know how the cops on the TV shows, they got to keep you on the line long enough so they can trace the call? Well, he had to keep the audience engaged long enough because, as he was saying, if any of my employees were ever stupid enough to trade in Bitcoin, I'd fire them. his traders at that very moment, following his orders, were in the pit. And what were they doing? In their own pit, sitting at their desk. As the price of Bitcoin dropped, they were scooping it up with both hands. So about a week later, week and a half, he kind of mildly changed his tune. Well, guess what they're doing today? Yeah, over at Mr. Diamond's place. They're road testing their own trading platform for crypto. Yeah, in case anybody missed that, I say, Mr. Jamie Dimon, you're the fraud. This guy, single-handedly, with that thing he calls a bank, they have paid more money in fines for wrongdoing than every other bank in history combined. They pay billions a year in fines. Okay? And for them, for Jamie, that's just, that's the cost of doing business, Okay. Well, there's also this thing called laws and regulations, and like playing by the rules. And Jamie just laughs and says, yeah, that's for fools. No, I want to do what I want to do. And if they want to fine me after I've made some more billions, let them have it. Just pay them. Good. Susie, they cut the SEC a check. Yeah, just tell them to go away. Cut them 2 checks. You know what? Leave one of them blank so the next time they don't have to bother us. Here, I'll sign it. Yeah, just tell them to fill it in, whenever I screw up again. But nobody seems to care. But I care, And I got some other stuff in the world of crypto to talk to you about today. And I'm going to show you a feature on a platform that we're going to have available for you here in the very near future, where those who are CFRN partners will be able to use our indicators and our methodology on stocks, cryptocurrencies. In the past, we've been 100% futures focused for many years. And going back to stocks after futures is kind of difficult because maybe you scalp a quarter or 50 cents out of a stock on any given day. But how many shares do you got to trade? You need a huge account so that that quarter becomes meaningful, right? But we know with futures, you can trade the S&P 500 for $500 a contract. And in doing so, you control at current prices, I don't know, about $130,000, $140,000 worth of S&P best of breed equity. And if you take just 2 points, I know that it's an old saw, but if you take 2 points out of the S&P, $50 a point on any given day, well, that's $100, right? Now it costs you $500 to put that trade on. So if you only got 1 point, that'd be $50. That would be a 10% return on the day, not on the year, on the day. But if you got 2 points, what's that? That's a 20% return. Actually, I take that back because you're putting up 1,000 and you bring home 100. So yeah, you're at 10%. But amortize that over a year. Now, of course, there are little things like getting stopped out and not knowing how to read the market or read a chart, or not having someone to mentor you and help you on the tough days and even the good days. Sometimes you really need help on the good days, helping you adjust to the fact that you're going to trade for a daily goal and then you're going to take the money and put the mouse away. Some people have a difficult time with that. Getting to 2 points a day is really not the challenge. It's all the other stuff. Getting all the other stuff. Peace, be still. Speak to the wind. Speak to the storms. Be still. If you have a clear head, if you know how to think in probabilities, which will help you learn, if you have a definable edge in the market, you could be one of those who end up standing in the 10% line, because most would-be traders end up standing in the 90% line. Now, why do 90% of traders fail? Are they bad? Are they stupid? Are they unlucky? Are they what's up? Well, they don't have anybody to teach them how to trade. Well, there's a gajillion trading rooms on the internet, but I'm going to ask all of you, because I know you've all been in them before. How many of them actually taught you how to trade? Oh yeah, they had some indicators and some oscillators, and the guy would, get all excited about a trade that you didn't quite hear, and he would bite your head off if you questioned one that went sour. And yeah, we've all been through that stuff. Michael and I decided we would just do something different, because we could. We treat everybody with dignity and respect. And instead of parlor tricks and games, we would just actually teach you how markets work, how to read the chart, how to understand the people behind the candles, what they're thinking, why they're thinking that. And it's all displayed by the evidence. That's what I call those candles, evidence. You see, these candles are shadows of decisions made by traders. Milliseconds ago, seconds ago, they're a shadow, they're a reflection. I've had people tell me all the time, oh, indicators, that's a fool's game. I trade pure price action. Okay. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, I don't use the indicators, I just use those candles. Oh, you're trading the shadows. I see you trading the shadows. What do you mean by that? I go, well, price as displayed by a candle on the chart, that's a lagging indicator. No, it isn't. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it is. You see, traders make a trade, it goes through the exchange, and then it's reflected on the chart after the fact. Again, maybe we're talking milliseconds? Okay. Still, it's lagging. So, I need a new soapbox. Michael, I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
All right. I will get you out of there, Dwayne.
I missed that TV show. I really enjoyed that. It was only on for one season.
I don't know what TV show that is.
It's called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Really?
That was really the name of the show, yeah.
I did not realize that.
Alec Baldwin's brother was on there, and that Chicago mayor that got in trouble. The guy with the bad haircut, or I don't know what it was. Come on, he had a really interesting last name. He was the guy right in there before.
Did you know Jerry Springer was a mayor at one point in his life?
Oh yeah, yeah, I knew that. Did you know my sister-in-law was on Jerry Springer?
I did not know that.
Let's see. Not much you can tell me about the old Jer that I don't know. But anyway, as I was saying, what was I saying?
You're trying to remember the name of the mayor of Chicago.
Yeah, now it's Rahm Emanuel, but it was the guy right before him. So anyway, his wife was on that first season. So Alec Baldwin's brother, I think Steve Baldwin, the Christian Baldwin, and the mayor's wife. I'm trying to remember who the other they're celebrities usually that are in the shadows. I mean, they're not A-list celebrities. They're
like Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, kind of like Dancing with the Stars, sort of.
Yeah.
This new Dancing with the Stars season should be pretty interesting because they are going to.
Melissa says.
Everybody's an
Blagojevich. Blagojevich.
Blagoyevich. I don't think you spelled it right, Melissa, but you tried, and that was bold of you, and I appreciate it. Actually, that might be right. Anywho, I'm going to hit mute so you can do your thing.
All right, here we go. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Friday. Today is Friday, the 20th day of April, 2018. First, let me start out by saying if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at CFRN, where it says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room, 100% free trials, use your indicators, learn our strategy, click here. If you click there, you'll be brought to this page. Thank you, Gary. Once you get to this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit the submit button, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? you do not click on the confirmation link, we do not know you took the trial. Okay, now we're going to go to our results. Just going to read the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you must read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. As I said, today is the 20th day of April 2018. Today we made 6 ticks on the euro, we made 8 ticks in crude, we lost 7 ticks in gold, and we made 12 ticks in the ES. That put us at 197.50 on the morning. Today it took 85 minutes and 6 trades to get to the goal for the day. When we closed out that trade, we were up $237.50. We took a total of 11 trades today. So on the month now, we're at 2,265. That's over 15 days, averaging $151 per day. On the year now, we're at $11,618. That's over 73 days, averaging $159 per day. Okay, now, let's go take a look at what we did. Oh wait, I wanted to show you guys this. Yesterday afternoon, during the afternoon session, I had pointed out a couple of places here on the 15-minute chart. And I said this is one spot where you could have shorted and looked for it to get down to here. Okay? And it went well beyond that. And yesterday I said you can short the BBC right here. If you go, not shorting the BBC right here, but go down to your smaller time frame, look for a shorting opportunity using the smaller time frame and expect it to get down to here. So if you flip down to the 4-tick range, this was at 3:30 yesterday. If you flip down to the 4-tick range, and yesterday at 3:30, the opportunity was, it was an inverted 137 right in here. Okay, I think it was right in here where we closed down below the MA1, right here. Where we closed down below the MA1 was an inverted 137. I did actually short there yesterday, and though I gave back a little bit today in the room, I made 90 ticks yesterday by shorting that at that level. I let it ride all the way down to this morning. I looked at it this morning when I got in the room, and everybody was there to watch me look at it this morning when I got to the room. And so I made 90 ticks on that. I may do that again sometime. I'm not going to do it tonight, though. Okay? Today in gold, I got to do this quick because I got someplace I got to go really quick here. In gold, we had 1 tick profit there, and then we stopped out and gave back 8 ticks there. So we had -7 on the day in gold. I highlighted this area right here. This is the BBC on the 15-minute chart. And I put an order on there, but I didn't get filled because I put it on when it was down here. But you can see it's going down. And where do I expect that to go? At least down to here. Okay, at least down to here. Just a thought. All right, the euro, we picked up, well, no, we started off here. We had a stop out. That's how we started out our day today. We stopped out on the euro -8 ticks. Then we had a break even. Then we picked up 14 ticks right there to get us to +6. We had one more break even right there. And during the break, it looks like there was a bounce off the BBC here that would have been a break even. And that's it. Okay, on the crude. Let's see. We didn't miss many trades today, even though we did a whole bunch of things. We had an open house and Dwayne was in. He took the charts for a little while, but the market started off really choppy. On the crude, our first opportunity here, we picked up 5 ticks. Then we got 10 more over here. We missed this one, and we missed that one. We did get another trade in here somewhere. It must have been this one right here. I highlighted it, but I think I actually took it and I stopped out. We had -8 ticks there. So we were at +15, then you -8 ticks. And I had 8 in the spreadsheet. It's actually 7. Anyway, I'll fix that in the spreadsheet in just a minute. Okay, and during the break, there really wasn't anything in here. Nope, we weren't trending. There's really nothing here during the break. Okay, on the ES, let's see, on the ES, come on, scroll back. There we go, on the ES. We had a break even there, and then we picked up 12 ticks on this one. Now, Dwayne had called this yesterday. He said, sell 2680 and watch for it to go down here to 2676. It did, and it went right through it, kept going. Let's see, getting out of the zone. Black step line crossed up above. Cycle was flat in the middle. we really didn't have anything in here on the ES during the break. Okay, so going back here, I gotta fix this. We only had 7 ticks. Okay, and that automatically adjusts all the other numbers. Okay, so we had 6 ticks in the euro, 7 ticks in crude, and we lost 7 ticks in gold. We made 12 ticks in the ES. All right, so we got to 187.50 today. Today took 85 minutes and 6 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we closed out that ES trade that was 12 ticks, and it put us at 237.50. And we took a total of 11 trade opportunities. So on the month now, we're at 22.55. That's over 15 days, averaging 150.33 per day. On the year, we're 11,608. That's over 73 days, averaging 159 per day. Again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Why do I say that all the time? Because it's true. All right. So here, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at cfrn.net. And this banner is going to drop down at the top where it says, click here. When you click there, you'll be brought to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit that submit button, and bam, you're going to be sent a confirmation link. Okay? Click on that confirmation link, and then we know you took the free trial. Okay? Then we get an email from you saying, we actually get 3 emails from you saying that you took the free trial. Okay? All right. And with that, I will pass this wonderful webinar application back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are prepared, you can take it back.
I am, I don't know if I'm prepared, but I'll do it for you.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir.
Just try to help out,
Appreciate
you know.
Thank you.
I'll do what I can. Yes, thank you very much for clearing that up, Gary. Rod Blagojevich was the governor, not the mayor. Rahm Emanuel is the mayor. This was his last term, though. Even the people who voted for him don't like him anymore. And Springer, Jerry Springer, was indeed the mayor of Cincinnati. Which I find quite fascinating. Don't you know? Okay. Did you say you were rushing and talking fast because you had to go somewhere? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yes, because I got to take care of something. I mean, I can be back in a few minutes, but
well,
I got to go somewhere right now.
You can't sit still for 5 minutes? Nope, you got to go? All right.
Not for 5 minutes, but I'll be back.
Beat it. Yeah, okay, we'll be done. All right, well, take care.
Okay. All right. All right.
I'll show the good folks who, you know, have time.
Okay.
To have time for me and my foolishness. Oh, you're wondering, wait, that's Bank of America. Oh, wait, that's the CFRN indicators. Oh, wait, how's that possible? Freaky deaky, huh? Now watch this. This is crazy. All right, let me, if I can remember, I got to remember the sequence. You got to do it in sequence, or I suppose you jump back there. Maybe I got to touch that first, and then touch that. Is that how it works? Okay. Now, I don't. In replay mode. I got the speed. Oh, I got to hit play. Now, watch how fast this thing goes because I got the speed jacked all the way up. Look at that. Look at that. Whoa. Pause. Now, let me slow it down because we're about to get a bearish cross right here. Did I slow it down too much? Oh. Did it just move? I slowed it down too much, huh? I did. Or maybe I gotta. Do I gotta do this again? See, I'm just learning. So, welcome to my learning experience. Let's touch the candle. Jump 2. Jump 2. Come here, jumping. I get it right most of the time, but I'm doing something out of sequence right now. Touch the candle. Touch jump 2. Do I gotta touch the candle again? Okay. Now it's gonna go back to that point that I just touched. It's going to load the indicators. I'm going to hit play. And I've slowed it down some. Okay, here comes the bullish cross. Dun, 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 dun. Pull away. Yeah. Price pulled back to physically touch, up close. And bada boom, bada bing. Bank of America. You'll be able to trade stocks. You'll be able to trade cryptocurrencies. You'll be able to trade Forex if you want, although we don't recommend it because of the spread and other stuff. Price pulling right back to the BBC. I know when I coded it up, I didn't get it all the colors right, but I will. So it's a work in progress. I still got to do the bottom part too. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that because I think it's pretty exciting that we will do something that I always wanted to do, and that was to lay our indicators and our methodology on top of equities. But again, it's kind of hard to go back to equities when you've enjoyed the incredible leverage that futures give you. But some people are just maybe more comfortable, with stocks, and you have to maintain a $25,000 account balance, 20 or 25, I forget what the figure was, if you're going to be a pattern day trader. And that doesn't mean that you day trade patterns. It just means that you're a day trader. I think it used to be if you have more than 3 round-trip trades in 5 days, that makes you a pattern day trader. And the pattern is that you day trade. Okay, so you have to maintain a minimum balance of either 20 or 25,000. I haven't day traded equities in forever, so this is going to be. Now, we're not going to just switch to stocks in the live training room. We're going to continue to do. We're going to continue on with everything just like we've always done. The only difference is that in the afternoons I'll offer some classes and whatnot on the equities and how to do what you just saw. And does it work the same? Yeah. Here's the thing though, with equities, it'll be difficult to do on a 4-tick range, but they are creating range charts for us, and they're not going to be ready though for a month or two. We might sneak in on a beta, maybe if we're lucky, but anywho, you're probably going to be using more like a 5-minute chart, which of course I'll be teaching you how to bounce that off, say, an hourly chart. But this is quite a huge leap forward for us, for all the partners, for the community at large. I'm pretty excited. Okay. Now I see that John has joined us, but he hasn't jingled my phone, so I don't know if he's being polite or if he's not quite ready to come on. So let me find out. John, are you there?
Yeah, I was being polite.
I didn't know if you were ready or not, so welcome to the show.
Thank you. I was being polite. It's a pretty tricky kind of a day today. We've kind of done okay getting the markets down, shorting the markets down to where they are. But, it feels like there might be a reversal here. And the VIXs are not performing well at all. I'd definitely reverse and go long right here just for a possible bounce. But but I'm ready to sell again at the slightest, especially if the lows are threatened. But I've seen a kind of a setup here for a possible bounce developing over the last 5 minutes or so. So we'll give it a shot. But even though look, you've got to be so careful with this market, because even though we're down a lot right now, could this market go back and go positive today? I wouldn't rule it out. And the reason is there's some of the big stocks are not breaking down that much. I mean, you had a very big move up on Amazon yesterday, and Google, Facebook, Google holding up quite well. Celgene actually turning up a bit on the drug side. But if we break down, if we start heading down to new lows, and we might even stand aside here and just go back short, because if we can get up above 66.74.5 on the Nasdaq, it's curtains. And the VIXs are going. Now the VIXs are finally going, and these VIXs have been underperforming here for several days. It's a real. I don't know whether they're being manipulated or what, but if they are, maybe they're losing the battle now, and the VIXs are going to go where they need to go, which is a lot higher. We are finally breaking down. So look, we've caught almost every rally so far this morning and sold each rally, so we've done quite a good job on that. But now there's a huge danger of this thing turning into a real major sell-off this afternoon. This here, that's why I was sort of saying, if it bounces, it's okay. But if we start going any lower, it's just the technicals are just really starting to turn extremely negative. We got a weekly doji full reversal, one of the worst weekly reversals you can maybe we've even had it on this market. And the opposite, now that the VIX is finally going to a new high on the day, we have a weekly doji developing, and if the VIX goes over about 45 or so, we'll have a shooting star, one of these hammer, sort of a bullish reversal hammer. As a matter of fact, if it goes to 44, if it closes at 44, above 44 today, almost have to be long, and you'd probably be long right now, really. But
now, did you say on the weekly? Did you say weekly?
Well, yeah. If it goes to 44, there's a gap down there. You'd have an island bottom on the VIX. And if we gapped up on Monday and the market gaps down, I mean, forget about it. We could get that move that I was looking for, where we might go to a new high on the VIX. So it's sort of a very sneaky kind of thing that's going on. But here's what I've been thinking over this morning, that with Amazon and Twitter and some of these other stronger stocks acting the way they are, they're sort of disguised. You've had a rally in the bank stocks that's starting to come undone. The transports were up earlier on; they've turned negative. So the market is turning more negative across the board, except for the energy stocks, which are possibly a sell here on this last rally, off this last rally. But the
transports, is there a signal for that, John? I mean, a symbol? Is there a symbol for the Dow?
TRAN _X on my stuff.
Yeah. I guess this platform needs a different symbol. I'll figure out what it is.
Yeah, there's a ETF proxy for it. I'll try and find it. Forget what it is now. I used to watch it, but it doesn't move very much. So look, here we are. We're turning a bit on the Nasdaq. So you have to be careful about a rally here, in spite of everything. And this is my concern, because we are at a very, very critical point right here. We've sort of been down 240 on the Dow before, and we've come roaring back. And some NVIDIA, which is one of the semiconductors, is not making new lows today. I don't think it's actually gapped higher, and it's not looking too bad. Could potentially reverse. Apple has been hammered pretty hard. It looks terrible on the chart, but it's giving a small buy here right now. So, you have to. There is a. Sometimes when you see a buy signal developing, you get a little dash down like we just had, and then it's the real deal. So I was probably right. When I thought about a rally starting. Now, if we get an 87 light, we crash Monday and have a reversal Tuesday, and maybe do a repeat of February 5 to 9 week again, which is quite possible to happen, because remember the Google and Facebook and some of these, they're going to announce next week, I think, and they could absolutely rock this market higher. So but I think this next rally may not be as broad as the rally we had right up into the January highs. You can see that in the way a lot of stocks are acting. For example, Maxim, which was really looking pretty good up until late March, mid to late March, has really taken a huge hit. And the semiconductors are breaking down. I mean, if you look at now, you might, unless it's taken over, you might say that Maxim, the highs are in on this stock for this bull market. So we could see, the AIMS, the Apple, Alphabet, Amazon and Microsoft, they could be the very thin market heading to new highs, and they could take the indices up. But really, the body of the market, a lot of the big, the mid-tier stocks may not participate too much in a rally into the summer. So it's worth keeping that in mind. You want to be trading the indices like we do in order to participate and get the benefit of the big boys taking the market higher. So it's maybe beyond that in beyond the summer, the big money might be made in shorting the market, shorting stocks across the board. Once the highs are in for the year. So the market has a lot of risk and starting to give a sell again now. The market is tremendously risky here today, so be very careful. It's risky both ways. It could snap back, and it could absolutely. There could be a late sell-off, around 2:30, 3 o'clock, that could take this thing way lower, a lot like it did, half a dozen Fridays ago when we had the first breakdown. And I think, remember, we had some Fridays that, where we sort of had a cascade of selling, and we ended up down 700 or so, or even one sure. Friday, I think we ended up down 1,000. If we end up down 400 or 500 points today, it's going to be very similar to the 87 setup. And that means that there could be if there's a big gap down on Monday, and it's almost like this market is sensing there's something bad around the corner that we just don't know about yet. And there's this situation with Israel and Iran could blow up. It could be another thing against the Saudis or something over the weekend. The oil is kind of acting as if that's going to happen. Could even it could be something with North Korea. I mean, even some sort of an accident there just could blow everything. You never know. It just feels like there's something out there, and even Trump, he even though he's brought on Giuliani finally, which he should have done initially as Attorney General, at least he's got him on the team now, and he could do something pretty reckless. You never know. I doubt it, but you never know what could happen. So it just feels that way, and because look, we've had quite a bit of good news here. I mean, we've had Amazon up huge yesterday, and look at it today. It's now selling off, and the market is selling off pretty badly. It doesn't kind of compute because most of the earnings have been positive, and the stocks have been selling off on the earnings, and that's bad news when that happens. Especially IBM, IBM and LRCX and some of these other things. So it's a very and look at Netflix. Netflix, which was raging a couple of days ago, it's not down very much today, but it's gone negative, and it has enough of a toppy looking formation to. You could argue that might be the top. And same with Amazon. I mean, I just checked. I mean, you've got a kind of a daily reversal on Amazon. Sort of almost, you had a gap up yesterday, and and now it's come down. That's that. Look at the top of Amazon. The last top, we had a couple of days like today, and then bang, next day they opened down like 100 or 70 or something. So this whole setup is very, even Google, it's got check it out. I mean, it's got a similar top to the secondary top that it made a while back, developing right now. And then you look at the stocks that have been hit, like Apple. And I mean, holy mackerel. I mean, this is I mean, we said a while ago we thought this thing would come down to 155. And it looks like it's headed that way, the way it's acting. I mean, it's got a monumental weekly reversal now. It looks devastatingly bearish, this stock, you know.
Which one? Which one?
Apple, you know.
Okay.
And Apple has been a, you know, kind of a proxy for the market all the way up. And for Apple to be breaking down, and you know, there was a report that came out about the smartphone cycle has peaked. And I mean, you know, listen, what Apple has done in the last few years has been nothing short of monumental. You know, we've been doing 50, 60 million phones, so even a quarter. I mean, it's just staggering what they've achieved. But you know, there's a limit. You know, almost everybody's got a smartphone of some kind today, and to expect that to just go on ad infinitum is, you know, fantasy. There's got to be a slowdown because there just isn't the buying power for people to be continually buying those phones out there. So there's, you know, there's, and then we did have the, you know, we had the unemployment shock. You know, the 103,000. That's another kind of you know, potential problem. So look, the Fed, I think the Fed are intervening here because now they're banging their VIXs again, trying to get this thing to rally. And I think they've been manipulating the VIXs here in the last few days to trying to prevent another 87. And, you know, that's why you've got to be real careful with this market today. So, you know, right now they may be trying to give it the appearance of a rally, but if they can't, you know, if there's a, you know, people, I think fund managers, when anybody who's holding Apple now, if they're not worried, they need to head examine, you know. So, you know, this is, I mean, Apple's been great, you know, rallied up almost to a new high recently, and now it's given it all back. I mean, it's given a whole month of April back in 2 days, you know. So that's not a very, you know, that's got almost every fund manager on the planet worried who's holding this stock, I would think. So, and all you need is that guy who said he's going to liquidate $60 billion worth of stock. If he panics this weekend, you know, he could be the guy that makes the crash, just like George Soros did in 1987. Right. So, you know, if I've been telling you, if a fella, if we gap down on Monday,
well, you mean Sunday night or on the Wall Street Open Monday?
Well, we'd gap down on most of the stocks Monday morning. And then if we gap down, and we just
if the futures sell off Sunday night, then the stocks will probably follow them when Wall Street opens.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. And the you know, the Europeans have been not selling off that much, but if they lose it, you know, if they lose it, then it's really, it's all over. And then actually the Nikkei is looking, you know, it's about to make new lows on the second half of the month right now. But the indices, I mean, look, this market a couple of days ago was looking pretty invincible, and it's turned very, very sharply lower in two pretty sharp down days. So we're certainly set up for something really incredible to happen, and we'll just have to see. You know, we have to play it. You know, see what, you know. Are we going to turn here this afternoon, and they're going to nip this in the bud? You know, even this morning. I mean, the market was down sharply around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We took a shot at going long, and it went back to unchanged, to positive. You know, the market was briefly positive this morning. The market opened, and then it just sold off right from the open. So the whole structure of this market is not very good today. But Fridays, you know, Fridays can be. We've seen Friday rallies and we've seen Friday sell-offs. So I don't know. You know, right now we're in the where the market can't make up its mind which way it's going to go. There's some positive signs out there. I'm actually getting some quite good buy signals here on some stocks that could actually mean a turn is at hand. So and the VIXs are, like I say, they feel to me like they're being manipulated. But if everybody throws in the towel this afternoon, then the VIXs are going to go much higher. And if they close above 44, it would be an incredible island reversal, multi-day island reversal, which would really catch a lot of people out. I think who are long stocks.
Yeah, I'm undecided about the overall. But for today, we had a partners workshop last night, and we outlined it pretty well, I think, as to what was going to happen today, or at least based on historical observance and how we read our charts and how our indicators work along with our zones and our alerts. And so we were on this S&P. We were looking for this right here. In fact, I called for it yesterday. I called for it yesterday on the video show.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. You're right. Yeah,
and so I said, now it may go back up here, confirm good. It did it twice. It ran up once, came down, and off our trade alert last night gave us 4 points, and then it went back up, tested resistance again, and the BBC. And then it made.
I remember we talked about your trading zone yesterday, going down through that. Now, that where you got the cursor right now, that's a potential support area.
Yeah, there should definitely be some consolidation in this area, because that's I call that congestion, for lack of anything better to call it. And that'll be some support.
Here's what I'm getting at. It's either going to be Armageddon, or we're probably going to nip this in the bud around 2656 or so, 2660 maybe. Because if this is a 3-wave pullback, right, and that's as far as it goes, and then we turn upwards from here, I mean, it could be screamingly bullish. It could turn very, very dramatically from there. So you have to keep that in mind, because a lot of the stocks that have been hit in the last few days, like the semiconductors, they could turn. They could turn. In fact, they're actually acting a bit better today than some of the other stocks. So that's kind of and even the drug stocks. You see they're not down. They're barely negative. So, it's not all that bad. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not all that bad out there, even though the major indices are down to, pretty substantially. So there is the potential for this. We could have one of those late rallies like we did last week. Remember, we were getting hammered right into, but occasionally we get these turnarounds around 3:40 in the afternoon. We got a late rally. If we get another late rally today, I think it could be a repeat of last week. Now, we've had 2 Sundays in a row where the market, got a reprieve. So betting on a third one, I wouldn't bet the house on it, but because a lot of times what happened the previous week, is reversed. So it's a real difficult call today. Now, a couple of other calls that have gone okay. The palladium continues to go higher. We bought the dips. We actually sold a rally yesterday, bought the dip again overnight. It's actually positive right now. Cotton has exploded higher, as we thought it might. We've been buying the dips on the cotton in the last couple of days. We sold a rally in the grains, and it's coming down again. The fact that cotton is actually running its own race today higher is encouraging. As you know, I think on the show we mentioned we'd sold the cocoa yesterday right up at the highs at 28 something. Cocoa has crashed down today to lower than 27.20. We got a buy signal above, a little bit above that level, just in case it reverses back. But in the meantime, the coffee appears to have bottomed. It's kind of acting quite solidly, and it's been creeping higher off this bottom in the last couple of days. The orange juice is turning back up. I think the orange juice, has a habit of rallying in the early summer, and it seems to be doing that right now. Remember, there's a lot of issues with orange juice, with disease and pests and problems with the trees and everything. So, and the crop's been half wiped out. So, orange juice is probably worth buying here. I think it's going to close the week looking pretty strong. Platinum, look, the metals, boy, they look like they were going to go to the moon overnight, but they ran into trouble, and they've come down quite a bit. All the stocks looked poised for greatness yesterday, and they've come back somewhat. There's a little bit of risk in the dusts in the way they're set up here. Potentially a kind of as I said yesterday, I don't understand it. When the stocks get hit, the gold stocks tend to get hit as well, and the dust comes to life. The gold, I would say that there's a pretty good chance the gold and platinum might actually be bottoming right here, and the silver it's virtually, it's only off a little bit on the day, and it doesn't look too badly on the chart. If the silver gets up about 1720, 1730, 1735 or so, it could suddenly break out to the upside. But right now we don't have a buy on the metals just yet. But if we sort of go to a new, I'd be buying PM highs. If we go to new highs and a new afternoon highs on the gold, I think you've got to take a shot at it. So,
okay.
See how we're creeping up on the Nasdaq here. We're definitely going to have a bit of a rally effort. Maybe into the 2 o'clock or 2:30. We'll see. We might rally for half an hour or so. But I'm actually getting some pretty strong buys on Micron and Nvidia. Apple a little bit, as I said a short while ago, there was a little bit of a buy that's developing better. And Maxim is giving me quite a good buy. Facebook, Google, I mean, we're probably going to rally here because we are putting in quite good structural buys, at least for a bounce right now.
Here's Facebook on a daily, and here's Facebook on an hourly. Yeah, I got a little bit of a range going on up here. And,
I mean, Facebook, the way Facebook's kind of been acting, if they come out with some good news, this stock could pop $5 or $10,
Yeah. And then there's those out there worrying themselves sick over this unfilled gap. So,
well, if Facebook disappoints, or they say they lost 10% of their viewers or whatever, then they'll probably hammer the heck out of this thing. So it's kind of like Netflix. Netflix just continues to outperform, and when we're growing 2.5–3%, these companies do pretty well. It's hard to bet against them.
Yeah, there were some analysts that had some negative comments on Netflix today that they're spending too many billions of dollars on original programming, original TV shows, movies. And they think that it doesn't end well because, yes, they've got incredible revenue. I think did I read the other day? I know I read it, but I can't remember the number now. The number of Amazon Prime subscribers. I want to say 100 million. But
100 million. Yeah, 100 million.
Is that right? 100 million?
That's... Okay. Yeah, I mean, and that's a huge revenue source there.
100 million times $100. I have no idea what that comes out to, but
10 billion, no? Is that right?
Yeah. Now, of course, they got to pay for some shipping out of that money. I don't know. I mean, we more than get our money's worth out of the Prime membership. You know, some people might order stuff, you know, 3, 4, 5 times a year, birthdays, Christmas, that kind of thing. But we, well, like I say, they bring us the good stuff for 43 cents a roll. 96 rolls to the case, and 1-day delivery, because we're so close to the distribution center. They promise 2 days free shipping to Prime members, but because we're so close, we get 1 day. Now, Richard had said, he says, I agree with John. The market is at critical levels right now. The market needs to rally or it could be in real trouble. Even if we rally a bit and then break these lows, potentially, watch out, closes below 2660 S&P and 2440 on the Dow would be very negative in my opinion.
No, I totally agree with that. That is absolutely perfect analysis. Absolutely dead on.
And RJ brings up that Disney is going to join into the fray along with Netflix and all the others and bring out their own huge catalog. Or they have a huge catalog already in place, he says. So a lot of competition for that space, you know, streaming. Netflix has done it better than anyone. Everyone has tried to copy them, emulate them, but no one seems to have the secret sauce that they have.
Well, you know, the AT&T, you know, which is a monster, DirecTV, they're kind of encroaching on that Netflix space, and they're basically getting out of the satellite business and doing streaming very similar to Roku and Netflix. So, you know, Netflix has got a monopoly of sorts on the whole. They've got first mover advantage, and they've got a pretty good monopoly on the content and everything. So, but you know, you've got to be careful when competition can destroy these these big winners. I mean, look, it's kind of like the cloud. Everybody's raging about the cloud right now. But it reminds me of Global Crossing back in 2000s. You know, back then bandwidth was everything, and laying these transatlantic cables and all that. And everybody who had bandwidth or expanding their bandwidth was getting bid up like crazy. And then all of a sudden, you know, the income revenues from bandwidth collapsed. And that basically was the top of the market. So if the cloud gets to a level where it becomes, you know, the discounting and the pricing of the cloud inverts, implodes, you know, that could take these big stocks down, like Amazon and Microsoft and all the big players, IBM, the whole bunch of them could be you know, turned upside down. Indeed. I mean, we're a ways from that happening right now, but it's something that could become a big deal in the next few months.
I don't know if you heard my rant earlier about Jamie Dimon.
No, I didn't.
You know, it wasn't so long ago. Let me see if I can find the actual article, so I don't have to make stuff up. They're testing their cryptocurrency exchange, or platform, trading platform today. You know, it wasn't so very long ago that Jamie Dimon stood out there on the street and encouraged and told everyone that, you know, bottom line is, you know, Bitcoin's a fraud. While his traders were in there, because he created a dip. When he said that, there was a dip in the Bitcoin market. His traders were buying it up, scooping it up with both hands as fast as they could. And then he made a quasi-apology, I don't know, a week or so later. And now they're launching their own trading platform for crypto. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, this guy, he has, you know, oh, me. It must be real interesting to be Jamie Dimon. But anyway, I can't find the article at the moment. I'll find it Monday or something. It'll be everywhere when it opens up. I think it's called Quorum. Yeah, it seems like that was the name of it. Jamie Dimon and Quorum. I don't know. See if it pops right up. QUOR. No, it's not indexed, I guess. Oh, Quorum, JP Morgan. JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon betting on blockchain, even as he calls Bitcoin stupid. Well, then he went on to call it a fraud. So their exchange, it's called Quorum, or not an exchange, but I guess it's a trading platform. Oh, how about this? What is Quorum? Enterprise-ready distributed ledger and smart contract platform. Yeah, it's just a shame it's a fraud. I mean, my God, otherwise it would be so awesome, you know. Anything else you want to cover today, John?
No, listen, I think that's about it. You know, we're getting the rally's not kind of on fire here, so it just popped a bit, and Richard's comments might end up being prescient if we do break down. This will actually accentuate the downside if this rally doesn't gather you know, much traction. So I think it just emphasizes what he said even more vividly. And so you know, and the VIX has actually dipped a little bit here, but they're starting to give a bit of a buy again. But look, I wouldn't rule out a little bit more upside on this rally if it can happen. But I mean, it's like Apple. Look, Apple just rallied and it already got hit. So the leader, that's, you know, that tells you the sort of nervousness out there. If people are just selling the rally and saying, I'm out of Apple, I'm getting out, I want to get out no matter what. That, I mean, and Twitter even, you know, Twitter got upgraded today and it's going down.
Oh, that's par for the course, man. I mean, that's a trading strategy unto itself. Just wait for the analysts to upgrade, sell.
Yeah.
And when they downgrade, buy. It's
like another stock that's been super strong in the last week or two is Booking Holdings. That used to be Priceline. It's kind of a new Priceline, and that's lost $10 here. No, wait a minute, $50. Lost $50 in 2 days. That stock from about 21.75. So and look, that's a stock that gapped up and it's gone down. It's getting down towards where it gapped. So if these stocks do gap down on Monday, it's going to be terminal for a lot of issues, at least in the short term. The only stock that's holding its rally right here, right now, is Nvidia. The rest of them are coming off already.
Okay.
So listen, have a great weekend, and to everybody, and thanks for the invites this week.
Thank you so much. We enjoyed it. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, this move on the S&P has broken down. The next zone below, 61.62. If we don't get there today, Sunday night on the Globex Open, depending upon where we open Sunday night, this could be a target. It could also be good support for the market to turn back up. So just keep this area and this area in mind and see where we open Sunday night. Okay? Yeah, and I guess depending upon where we close today, because the next playing field is right here, up above us. So let's see what happens here. I don't think we're done on the downside. I think we'll see the 61.62, if not today, Sunday night. But hey, I was wrong once before, back in the 70s. Anything can happen. We all take things for granted, do we not? And probably thing that we take for granted the most is the worst, and that's God's grace. I mean, we need to have an attitude of gratitude when it comes to the grace that God provides in our lives and in everything that we do. Ephesians 3:8 says, "To me, who am less than the least of all the saints, this grace was given." In other words, he's saying, hey, look at me, I'm a nobody, and he still gave me grace. One day, the Pharisees caught a woman in the act of adultery. The law of Moses was clear. She must be stoned. And no, not because today's 420. They're talking the other stoned, all right? And the Pharisees were ready to do it. This woman probably thought that Jesus, being righteous, would agree with them. She had no lawyer to defend her. She didn't even have a character witness. Suddenly, Jesus stoops and begins to write in the sand. Some scholars think, now nobody knows, but some scholars think that perhaps he wrote down the sins, including the times and the places of this woman. Or maybe the Pharisees standing around. When he looks up, the woman's accusers have gone. He says to her, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." John 8:11. That day Jesus lifted her from a position of undeniable guilt to one of unconditional pardon. She didn't deserve it. She didn't even know it was possible. And that's our story too, huh? One day Abraham Lincoln watched a plantation owner bidding for a slave girl. Figuring he was going to buy her and abuse her, Lincoln paid the price to set her free. "Does this mean I can go wherever I want to go?" she asked. Lincoln said, "Yes, you're free." With tears streaming down her face, she replied, "Then, sir, I will go with you." That's powerful. The word grace is so important. Paul mentions it 3 times more than any other writer in the Bible. Remembering the violent life he had lived, killing Christians, he writes, "To me, who am less than the least of all the saints, this grace was given." He's saying there couldn't be anyone more unworthy of God's grace than I, but yet he gave it to me anyway. The word grace comes from the Greek word charis, meaning pure joy. Although you don't deserve it, God considers saving you to be a pure joy. That's God's grace. Be grateful, approach it with an attitude of gratitude, and don't ever, ever take it for granted. It's one of the most precious gifts, if not the most precious gift that we have on planet Earth. Okay, Gary, I see your message there, and I will, let me just write it down because I don't have this open then. I think you sent me an email about that, right? Do you want us to just simply change the email address that we have on file for you? Because it's difficult for us. Okay, yeah, now that's easy. What's difficult is when somebody says, well, I want some of my stuff, to, I want this, this, and this to go to this email address, and this, this, and this to go to that email address. Yeah, we don't have that program. But, yeah, I'm happy to change so that everything from now on will go to this email address you just gave me. You're very welcome. And I'll see you at the mentoring session. As for the rest of you, it's the weekend, and CFRN Law states you must spend quality time with your family. And, of course, I'll see you in church on Sunday, right? Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.